On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Impera by Ghost. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And today we're talking about Ghost.
Zoinks!
Oh, I feel like the Scooby-Doo reference is slightly more appropriate. I've seen there's the meme. If you know too much about Ghost, you may have seen the meme referring to like what Ghost looks like and what Ghost sounds like. And one of them is also at like a car show where there's the Batmobile and then next to it is the Mystery Machine.
What they look like and what they sound like.
They look like the Batmobile. They sound like the Mystery Machine. I didn't know what I expected.
Right.
And not in the sense like, you know, I'm thinking of the scene in Arrested Development. Mm-hmm. It's not like that. The scene where he, opens the fridge, there's the bag, says dead pigeon inside. He opens it and goes, I don't know what I expected. This isn't that, because there was no sign that said dead pigeon inside.
But I think everybody's talked about it. I've talked about it.
Okay, but here's the thing. When I hear, Ghost isn't heavy, but there's a lot of people who like metal who also like Ghost, I expected it to be at least tangentially more metal.
It gets metal in here sometimes.
Like on one song.
Yeah.
That's still weird.
And
I don't get, I want to be clear.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Ghost. Mm-hmm. I firmly believe they're not my thing.
Yeah, and I knew that going in. When I said it last week, and I delayed bringing this album because I thought, Kale won't like this. We like to talk about stuff we like.
Well, and again, it's not that I actively dislike this. This didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth the way that Celtic Frost did. Right? Like, this is fine.
Yeah.
This is enjoyable, even. This is easy to listen to. This is very easy listening.
And I think it would be more relatable for you were you in your late 40s. Because there was a lot of like, hard rock and heavy metal that sounded like this when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff I listened to was the bad boy stuff, the thrash metal. But, other people who listen, I'm a metalhead, you listen to a band like Kicks or stuff like that. That sounds like this kind of.
I suppose. Yeah, I just didn't know what to expect. Like what I was expecting was something, because I was like, all right, they're a Swedish band. They got sort of the dark kind of gothic aesthetic that they've always had.
Right. That
sort of gothic satanic aesthetic that they've had for a long time. Like I bet this sounds vaguely like new era Opeth. Right, I bet this is vaguely something. No, not at all.
So you didn't believe me when I told you that it was the slightly overdriven ABBA is what it is.
I didn't know you were being literal.
I was being literal. I was not.
I didn't. I assumed that was an exaggeration, and that's not the case. So yeah, we'll talk more about Ghost in a while. First, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing well. I've been playing a lot of games. I got a new channel on my Roku. I'm overwhelmed with options for entertainment right now.
Yes.
I was playing a game earlier today in a place that you told me to go to, and that I realized what made me happy in that moment was, I haven't eaten yet. I can go do that instead.
What? You don't like the heroes' graves in Elden Ring? They're not fun? You don't like doing those?
Okay, you know what? The truth is they are fun. They are fun.
They're annoying.
Yeah, but they're fun. They're fun in that way where you're playing with your buddy and they're flicking you in the face.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, then you're just having fun with me. Oh, stop it. Stop. Seriously. Fucking stop it. So you get about a half hour, 45 minutes into this damn thing, and you're like, oh, Christ.
You don't like running from a giant death chariot that's chasing you down a ramp or chasing you up a ramp?
Mm-hmm.
And that you get to I've gotten to a turn. Mm-hmm. I'll bet look, there's no chariot down here. I bet I'm safe. No, the other one is turning.
Right.
And following you. Yeah, they're bullshit. But then you went and burned your fingy.
I burnt my finger. I was making a tostada. And
why do we keep saying
I don't know. I was frying up a tortilla and I was using.
You're too white for that. I know it's
too white.
I know it's technically the correct pronunciation.
You're not
wrong.
You're
too white.
Yeah, I know. And I grew up in Southern California. Well, I didn't grow up. I grew part of up in Southern California.
Yes,
where there are plenty of other people who do, qualify to have that accent.
Sure.
But up here, not quite so much.
Not quite so much.
But yeah, I burned myself in some hot oil.
That's
making a.
Was that more fun than Elden Ring, burning yourself on hot oil?
It was about level.
It was about level. All right, that sounds correct.
And and the thing is, I'm now bitching about it, but I'm gonna go home.
Oh yeah,
fire it up again because I got to get to the end of this goddamn thing.
That's the FromSoft curse. That's how it goes. You're like, God, that's annoying. I gotta keep doing it.
Right.
Like that's what got me with fucking Dark Souls. Is I played it for 4 hours and went, this is bullshit. I hate this. I don't want to touch this again. And the next day I was like, I gotta fucking play Dark Souls.
I can't not do this.
I have to do this now or else I'm weak and a coward. And now it's been the last 5 months of my life.
Right.
So that's how that's going. Like last year I was playing Cyberpunk throughout the winter and having a blast with that. And this winter I was just like, Cyberpunk is bright and colorful and it's so crazy and so fast moving and you jump around everywhere and you got robot parts and you got blades that come out of your arms and it's just insane and crazy and there's characters that have so much dialogue and there's so much there's the quest lines and Keanu Reeves is in it and it's just this crazy awesome game. And then I was like, I'm going to do what's the exact opposite of Cyberpunk,
and that's just a weird thought to have. Yeah.
Dark Souls and FromSoft games in general are the exact opposite of Cyberpunk. Also in the sense that usually FromSoft games come out finished.
Right.
Which was not the case with Cyberpunk, but it's like FromSoft games are exactly the opposite of a CD Projekt Red game.
One thing I do love about playing their games is if you play them long enough and for some reason you think, I'm enjoying this game, but I'm going to take a break from it. I'm going to play a different game. Whatever that other game is, you are a god at it.
Yeah, you're probably going to be very good at that other game.
Right.
I think like the only game I played I like tiny bits and pieces of Halo Infinite when I was just like, maybe I'll go back. Never mind.
Yeah.
But and then some Baldur's Gate 3. But since that is, turn-based, the combat in that is turn-based strategy and whatnot.
Right.
Whether or not I'm any good at that is not necessarily up to me because there's quite a bit of randomness involved because it's a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Sure.
So there are digital dice being rolled.
Essentially, yeah.
That I'm not in control of. No, literally. They're on screen for like dialogue at least. There's an actual D20 in the center of the screen that you click on and it does a roll for you. For at least dialogue stuff. And then digitally behind the scenes, it is the same thing, but you do still have, the same percent. You are given a percentage to hit when you mouse over creatures to do an attack, but that percentage to hit is based on your stats.
Sure.
Which is literally just D&D 5th edition. Like Wizards of the Coast licensed 5th edition D&D to be used in Baldur's Gate 3.
Right.
It's not just like, people are like, oh, all video games are really just D&D when you no, this is literally this is actually a licensed product. So yeah.
Cool.
That was a little rant that I went on there. But
and we're all better for it.
I'm like, because I'm getting relatively close to I actually don't know necessarily how far I am into Elden Ring. I think I have 1 or 2 major areas left to do.
How do you think you're going to end the game? I mean,
like what ending I'm doing? I already finished Ronnie's quest line, so it'd be stupid for me not to do Age of Stars.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm like, I've got I don't know exactly how many story bosses I have left. Technically, I only have like 3 or 4. Like I could rush through it and only have like 3 or 4 to do.
Really?
Because I think it would be, I don't know the exact order, but I think it would probably be like major story bosses anyway would be Morgott. I think you have to do the fire giant as part of the story.
Actually, I believe the fire giant is optional.
Okay. So, but I know you like leave or come back, or I don't know exactly what the situation is with Godfrey, but like it's Morgott and then Godfrey, and then there's I don't know. I'm trying to go through the sewers under the Capitol at the moment.
I've heard good things about the sewers under the Capitol.
And I'm doing that.
You can get lost down there easily.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sewer in a FromSoft game. It's par for the course.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could blast through the rest of the game if I was really trying to. But I want to savor it a little bit because also I don't know what the fuck to do with my life once I'm done with it.
So now my question something I haven't researched is once you beat the game, you can still play the game, right? I mean, I don't know how Elden Ring does it. I know there's FromSoft games always have a new game plus. Sure.
But I don't know how that works in Elden Ring. In Dark Souls, the second you link the flame or walk away, it starts new game plus and you're back at the beginning of the game.
But it's new game plus.
Yeah, but it's new game plus. So you're going to absolutely destroy the shit. Like the way New Game Plus works in FromSoft as well is that all the enemies are more powerful.
Oh, okay.
But usually New Game Plus 1, it's comical. Like,
so after you beat it a second time,
probably I think it's more like New Game Plus 3 is when it actually becomes challenging again or something. Okay. At least that's how it is. I don't know how it is in Elden Ring. This is outdated information.
Right.
But like Dark Souls 3, once you beat the game, you get brought back to Firelink Shrine and you can sit down at the bonfire to start a New Game Plus, or you can still wander around, but it's Dark Souls 3, which is extremely linear. So there's if you've beat the game, there's nothing for you to do unless you skipped all of the optional bosses, in which case you will probably go back and absolutely destroy them. Unless they're the Nameless King, in which case he will continue to kick your ass because he's an extremely difficult boss. Or dark. I suppose if I was not a coward, I'd go back to Dark Souls 3 and beat Nameless King and Dark Eater Midir, but I don't want to.
You don't feel motivated to do that?
I don't feel motivated to do that. But so I don't know how it works in Elden Ring. I don't know if it's like immediately going to send you back to there is a hub world, but because of the way that things happen in the end of Elden Ring, it doesn't really make sense to send you back to Round Table Hold.
Maybe it sends you back to the elevator where you come up.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. We're talking out of our asses here. Why are we bothering to talk about a thing we don't know anything about?
I think it'd be great is if it sends you back and then all the other of the creatures now, instead of like sheep and soldiers and things like that, they're all Elden beasts.
Oh yeah, every enemy is the Elden Beast. That's how it goes. No, every enemy is a fucking Crucible Knight. How about that? Fucking hate Crucible Knights. They suck. There's a couple. There's a boss fight. There's a catacomb that makes you fight 2 Crucible Knights at once. I didn't like that at all.
No, but you got through it, yeah?
Yeah, I got through it because I'm using Moonveil, and Moonveil is stupid. It's like brain rot for Elden Ring. Like it's just it makes the game probably too easy, but I don't have the patience.
Right.
I'm just like I don't have the patience to actually be good at the game. And I think that's fine, but on a certain level I feel ashamed for using Moonveil because it's like I should use a real weapon. But no, I'm using the broken katana. Because if I was really cheesing it, I'd have Moonveil in one hand and Rivers of Blood in the other, but
sure,
I'm not that much of a degenerate. So I will not use I will not abuse those swords quite so badly. If I were to do another Elden Ring playthrough, which will happen someday, I'll probably try and do just like a pure strength build.
That's kind of what I got going,
I guess.
Yeah, and I'm just using a great sword with bloody slash on it.
You should try. I don't know. My brain stopped working. Elden Ring has destroyed my brain.
Of course.
I haven't done anything else. I mean, we played D&D on Sunday.
We did. And it was fun. It was a great session.
I was a little disappointed in the boss fight there at the end with the witches.
The hags.
Because I waffled back and forth. I was going to, before that fight, I was also going to, and this was something, there were a couple different versions of that fight that I backed off on.
Really?
But the version that I was going to do that I then forgot to do was, so hags in Dungeons and Dragons, when they are in a coven, gain access to a list of spells that they can only gain access to when there are at least 3 of them alive standing near each other.
Right.
The default list of those spells is bad. It sucks. It's not a good list of spells.
Really?
Like the only good one on there was Lightning Bolt.
Oh, sure.
All of the other ones suck quite a lot. So I was going to change the list of spells they had access to something that was more effective.
Right.
Because I think the monster manual kind of assumes that players won't really be fighting hags because all of the spells were like it's like divination shit and stuff that would be useful if the players were working with hags, which is certainly something that can happen, especially if you're playing like a Feywild based campaign. Sure, but it's like as villains, they're not very intimidating. From a stat block perspective.
Sure.
And also like I feel like I kind of fell flat in the sense that like I don't understand how to play Fey creatures because they're just really not the default character for Fey creatures in Dungeons and Dragons is just not. It's the opposite of my personality, basically, where it's just like, ooh, whimsical bullshit. It's like, that's not me. That's not how I run games. But they were the only thing that I had the idea to have them be the villains here and have this be the reason for what's been going on in this forest. Because I needed there to be something. And that's the idea I had. And then I was just like, but fuck, how am I actually going to play these assholes? And yeah, I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do that. The Feywild is my least favorite extra dimensional place in Dungeons and Dragons because again, it's just like whimsical bullshit, and I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. I like my 9 hells. I like my abyss. Sure. I like my the different kinds of heaven, the upper planes, those I understand.
They're serene. They're hellish.
Yeah, I get those places. Or like the Shadowfell. It's like, yeah, I've listened. I know what the Shadowfell is like. I've listened to Bell Witch. I can get on board with that vibe. Mm-hmm. But the Feywild is just like, I don't get any of this. I don't. This is just not for me. So I would never run a whole campaign centered on the Feywild because I couldn't. I don't have that kind of personality. Some people really like the Feywild, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, but I just cannot. I can't do it.
I feel like that's a good moment to transfer to the album for the week.
Yeah. Speaking of whimsical bullshit, let's talk about Impera by Ghost. So
yeah,
I mean, I mentioned I don't understand Ghost. Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
It's because you've never owned a Blue Oyster Cult album. I mean,
I haven't. I mean, I haven't listened to a lot of Blue Oyster Cult songs other than what we've got, on the radio. Mm-hmm. I quite like the Blue Oyster Cult that I've heard, but also when I listened to those songs,
you knew what was going in.
I knew what those were supposed to be, and also they like, at least for I haven't listened to any other Ghost albums, so I don't know if other albums are particularly different, but like, Don't Fear the Reaper definitely does not have the same vibe as a song like 20s.
No,
where we're going to be covered in moolah or whatever the fuck the phrasing there is. Like it felt to me gimmicky. It almost felt like this is like I see the costumes, I see all that stuff.
That's the gimmicky part.
And now I've listened to the music and I'm going like, is this a novelty band?
People thought they were a novelty band like 5 albums ago, but
I mean, a novelty band, though, can stick around for a long time. Sure, that doesn't disqualify you from being a novelty band.
But nobody thinks they're a novelty band anymore.
I do.
Well, nobody who would listen to them,
I suppose. It's the lyrics were a lot sillier than I was expecting. It was all of it was a lot sillier than I thought it was going to be.
A lot more lighthearted than you thought it was going to be.
And like I said with the Feywild thing, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with people for liking that. But it's like, I don't see what other people see in Ghost, where people, it's like their favorite band and talking about it like, it's the way that I heard people talk about Ghost. I expected it to be like King Crimson or some shit, whereas like, crazy prog sort of stuff going on. It's like, no, this is just kind of a rock band.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly crazy happening here.
It's just really catchy songs.
It's just a catchy rock band. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't get why people are obsessed with it is what I'm trying to say. Because I didn't hear anything on here that made me go like, oh, this is amazing and something that you won't hear anywhere else in the world.
Well, no, that's not what they're going for.
But again, then why are people so obsessed with this band?
Because they make really good songs.
I guess. I don't know.
The songcraft is great.
I get.
And it's just really at the heart of it.
I was thinking right before you got here is like, do I hate fun? Am I a buzzkill? Am I really that much of an asshole that I can't like? Why can't I like this? Like, I felt bad. It's just like, I'm gonna talk about this and I'm gonna sound like a dick. Like, I don't get it. So why don't you talk about it for a while? Explain Ghost to me, because you like Ghost. So explain it to me.
And I don't have any guilty pleasures. I think all of my pleasures, if you ask me about them, I will boldly tell you.
About
and yeah, and you're right. And a lot of people who love metal really hate this band a lot. They get a lot of flack for not being what they're expected to be.
That's true.
Which is kind of a plus for me.
Well, because you like that. You like to be a contrarian.
Yeah.
About that sort of shit. Your favorite Carcass album is Swan Song.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's par for the course for you.
Sure, absolutely. And I first discovered this band, and I like you had no fucking idea what the hell I was looking at, because it was their earlier work, and it was sort of more. It was more quirky, more simple, and a little bit spookier.
Which is what I was expecting this band to be spooky at the very least. Mm-hmm. That's the adjective that I think I would most have associated with them before I listened to this album was, I knew it was not going to be heavy.
Yeah.
I 100% did not expect it to be heavy at all. Mm-hmm. But I at least expected it to be kind of spooky. Ooh, no.
It's none of that.
Continue, though.
But yeah, and as time went on, I kind of kept following them. And then eventually I bought Meliora was my first Ghost album that I actually purchased. I mean, I'd listened to their stuff on the internet, and I still didn't quite get it. But I think buying that, I'm like, oh, I know what this is. This is... he's done metal in the past. He was actually in death metal bands in Sweden. And it's really just one dude with a bunch of hired musicians. But
Tobias Forge.
Tobias Forge. Yes.
Forge. We're speaking English. We can call him
Tobias Forge. Yeah. But like everybody other English speaker does. But yeah, but I get it. He's like, okay, well, that's kind of done. I kind of want to play music that, a lot of people are going to want to hear.
Sure.
And that simply is not going to involve, everything about death metal.
Well, yeah. And obviously their imagery is extremely attention grabbing.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
on purpose.
Yes, purposefully so. Mm-hmm. And it's I think the imagery associated with Ghost is really interesting.
Sure.
The whole, the satanic pope and the cardinal and whatnot, like that, like all of that stuff I think is neat, but, because it pulls King Diamond into the brain. Sure. But then when you listen to it, it's not King Diamond.
No, it's not. But they do have a song that's actually sort of a beautiful evangelical love song to Satan. That's of course on an earlier album.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Ghost touring with King Diamond.
They toured with Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
recently. That
doesn't surprise me at all either.
Right.
That would be a thing. Mm-hmm. But I feel I can see them fitting in with a lot of people, and I guess like it's one of those things where it's like I get it, but I don't get it. Right.
Right.
Where it's like intellectually, I understand why people enjoy it, but on a subjective level, I just can't wrap my head.
Did you have a hard time really liking the stuff like the jocks and the extra cool kids in school liked? I mean, that was kind of me.
It wasn't really a concern for me.
I suppose it was a small school.
It was a really small school. It was just sort of like, I mean, I was, in my class, I was the only kid who was interested in, metalcore and shit like that, or pop punk, or, anything in the sort of the Warped Tour selection of genres of my high school and in early college years. That's what I was interested in. And there was, a couple of kids a little bit older than me that were also interested in that. And they happened to be people that I was close friends with and did, speech and drama with and stuff like that. So that wasn't really a problem for me. But when it came to like what my classmates were interested in, like, all of the other guys in my class listened to hip hop, and I didn't hate hip hop, but it was just kind of like, it's not my thing. And none of us had any problems with that. It was just sort of like, we like different stuff. That's fine. So yeah, I didn't really have a problem with like, oh, the popular kids like that, so I can't like, because there weren't popular kids. There were 17 people in our class. I think there were popular kids in the school, but like none of them were in my class. Like none of my class didn't have any like really popular people in it. We were just all kind of like, yeah, we're just doing our thing.
Sure.
there were some really talented athletes in like older classes and whatnot. And not that any people, the athletes in my grade were bad at sports, but none of them were like crazy, super good, like clearly, naturally super gifted at sports. And just like, he's good at sports. Yeah, he's a sports player and that sort of thing. Nobody was there was nothing for me to rail against really in high school. I
think one of the reasons that I really started getting into metal in the mid to late 80s was, I think it mostly had to do with the fact that the other kids that were listening to it were really nerdy and smoked pot.
And that I'm
like, I want to hang out with you guys.
Crowd,
yeah. What you listening to? Wow, this is really intense. Turn up.
Awesome. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't really a crowd like that in my high school because, again, your graduating class was probably bigger than the entirety of my school K through 12. How big was your graduating class?
I have no idea. My senior year, I went to Souris River campus, which is on the fairgrounds.
Oh, okay.
And I technically my diploma says Minot High on it. But I had never set foot on Minot High campus.
I see.
But I think it was over 500.
Yeah, that's definitely bigger than the entirety of Washburn Public School system when I was going there. But
I graduated with either hoodlums or pregnant people or people who were both. But they
or both.
But they all smoked cigarettes at lunchtime.
Classic.
Yeah.
So someone should make a movie about you. Start writing a memoir. I feel like that could very easily be, someone could make a movie about your youth, your life.
Yeah.
They call it Ogehood.
Ogehood?
And it'll take 12 years to make.
Yeah, it'll be weird to. I think that would be a weird thing to do, to watch like a documentary on your
life.
Yeah, and you watch it and go, oh shit, my life took an hour and a half.
Well, no, this would be a 3 hour. We don't do short movies anymore.
Right, this would be a mini series, a limited series on Netflix.
Limited series on Netflix. Netflix ain't gonna make it through the next year, my friend.
You think it's gonna be gone?
I think it may as well be. I think by this time next year, Netflix may as well be dead.
I mean, all the stuff they're doing to fix their shit is
driving more people away.
More people away. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think Netflix, if it is around in a year, it will be in a withered and pathetic state. It will have become Gollum-like. Right. And I do not mean the creature from Jewish folklore.
Yeah, not the statue. Yeah.
It will have become Smeagol.
The stone golem. No, but
you'll find Netflix deep in a cave under the misty mountains, eating raw fish.
Hey, is it cool if I just take Stranger Things? That's your precious? Okay, you know what? That's cool.
You can keep that. Like that, I think they're banking on Stranger Things season 4 as being like their last big hurrah before it dies, before they take a handful of pills and go to Arby's.
Netflix is gone. Life is meaningless. Enjoy Arby's.
Fucking nihilist Arby's, but. Yeah.
Ghost.
Do you think Impera slaps?
At times.
Yeah, sure.
And I wrote I think for me it slaps in the way, that slaps, like not as in, it's really heavy and actually physically comes out of the speaker and punches you like keep talking. Most of the like cattle decap. I mean that's
that's a different meaning.
That's a different meaning, but
slap. I wrote and
the song 20s. I mean it's pretty thrashing, but
and once again I want to state that like I didn't hate this. And it more than that.
Yeah.
It's like when you say like I didn't hate this.
Yeah.
What you are saying is, I didn't like this, but I don't want to say hate because that's too strong. No, like like this was enjoyable. I enjoyed listening to this. At no point was I going like, God, this really sucks. Like, I'm not giving this a bronze. This album didn't punch my kid or anything.
Right.
Like, you know, it was an interesting experience for me because I'm going like, wow, this is not
what I thought it was going to be.
Not what I thought it was going to be, and it's not for me. But yeah, I just had to think about it. So I just want to make it clear that I don't hate Ghost. It's just they're just not.
It's not
my
your thing. And it's only my thing sometimes.
Yeah. So this album was critically very well received. Got an 84 out of 100 on Metacritic. A lot of people reviewed this album very well. Good for them. God, I sound like such an asshole.
It's fine, man.
I sound like such an asshole.
This is a metal centric podcast. So if at least one of the hosts doesn't go fuck anything that's not metal.
But I don't do that. I'm wearing a fucking Wonder Years hoodie right now,
which was a great TV show. But
and Fred Savage won't be on the reboot.
Right.
But yeah, like I'm wearing a fucking Wonder Years hoodie right now. Like I like a lot of things that aren't metal. It's just, but this is not one of them.
Yeah,
really.
I'm noticing that because when you said this is making so much sense now. When you said you don't like the Feywild because it's
whimsical bullshit.
Whimsical bullshit. That was what you said. You said it's whimsical bullshit. I'm noticing that a lot of the things that you listen to and really vibe with there's zero whimsy.
Oh yeah, no,
like the Wonder Years. It may not be a metal band, but it is not whimsical.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to a Wonder Years song. You're crying by the end.
I mean, we've talked about the sad goblin that lives in my brain.
Right.
And he's hungry, and I must feed him depressing music.
Sure.
And yeah, that's a lot of my music taste kind of boils down to stuff that makes me feel sad.
Right.
Stuff that just makes me feel anything.
Oh, wait a minute.
I don't need to feel happy. I just need to feel something.
Are we hearing your dark passenger right now?
It's me, Marcus. I'm talking to you right now.
Feed me.
I'm so sad, but I like it.
I must be sadder.
I want to become more sad. I don't know. Yeah, I just because there's a catharsis that comes with feeling those emotions.
You're right, and I'm with you there.
Sometimes as a emotionally kind of repressed Midwestern man, it can feel good to get those out because I don't know how to do it otherwise.
You're not. Oh yeah. Well,
I don't know. I should go to therapy.
I'm glad you're doing this with music and not say mass murder.
Yeah. But
yeah, and see, I like that too. I got to listen to some dark shit a lot of times, but also at the same time, I need a palate cleanser. I need a saltine sometimes. Sometimes I get to put Duran Duran in. You mean? Yeah.
My palate cleanser is I don't have like a full palate. I have a genre palate cleanser. Or just, in general, there's several bands that qualify as a genre palate cleanser, but they're not really a mood palate cleanser. It's the same shit.
Right.
It's just, instead of sad metal, now he's listening to sad dream pop. Or now he's listening to sad folk music. Like it's all the same vibe.
Sure.
It's just a different genre.
They're using different pedals.
Yeah, they're just the guitars have less distortion and they're not as spiky. And that's it.
And that's fine.
That's fine. That's what Marcus likes.
Because you're good enough.
Marcus needs.
You're smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like you.
What's that from?
That's from Saturday Night Live. From it was Al Franken.
You're good enough. You're smart enough.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, people. Okay. So what's your favorite song on Impera?
My favorite song, I think the one that sticks with me the most is Spillways. I think for some reason.
Which, by the way, I gotta mention
Yeah.
the opening. It's just a Pokemon theme. It's just Pokemon. It's just Pokemon.
Uh-huh. Gotta catch 'em all.
Not necessarily, not the chorus, but
gotcha.
the keyboard. Pure 100% Pokemon theme. That's all I could think of, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I just ruined that song for somebody. But that's all I could like pull. Once we're done recording, I'm gonna pull that song up.
All right.
And we're gonna listen to the first 15 seconds, and then I'm gonna pull up the Pokemon theme, and we're gonna listen to the opening of that.
Sure.
And they're gonna be exactly the fucking same.
I'm looking forward to this.
So, like, it's all I could think of. It's like the exact keyboard that they used back in the 90s for the Pokemon cartoon.
I'm too old for that to be a song in my psyche, so that never dawned on me.
And I don't like Pokemon. I don't give a shit about Pokemon, but it's still in my head.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with literally everyone I've ever considered a close friend is obsessed with Pokemon. Everyone except for you.
Right.
That I've ever considered a close friend is obsessed with Pokemon.
Sure.
That's not me. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. I had one child who was around your age who liked Pokemon.
Yeah. I don't care about Pokemon. Oh, it's weird the things that I am not into, considering the everything about me.
Sure.
Like there are things that people assume that I would like. That's entirely logical for them to assume I would like that I don't. But anyway, my favorite song was 20s because it's the closest thing to what I expected Ghost to actually sound like. It's the closest to what I thought Ghost was going to be. There's some heavier guitar on there, the heavier riffs. It's a weird song.
It's a political song.
Yeah, that seems to be like comparing the 20s we're entering into, have entered into, to the 1920s. Seems to be the gist of that.
And we know how
also,
that ended.
Tobias Forga says, grab them by the hoo-haws in there. He says that.
Right.
I mean, he's a parody, but, you know, using that language to paraphrase the former president of the United States saying grab him by the pussy is very funny. It's extremely funny. And also I heard that and I was like, what the fuck did I just hear?
There has always been an underlying wink out of this band. Like you know, I'm kind of being funny. I'm serious, but no, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not.
I thought, and I thought it was funny, but it's just like, did he really just say that? Because, and again, utterly defying my expectation from this band. But you know, as I learned from my experiences with Game of Thrones and with Star Wars: The Last Jedi,
right?
Subverting my expectations doesn't mean I will like it.
No, not necessarily.
So
no, in fact, I think a lot of times, you know, if you go to a restaurant and then they serve you a dead infant on a plate,
you would be unsatisfied with that.
That would be very unsatisfied.
You would be probably rather angry.
I'm going right to Yelp right now.
First Yelp, then the police.
Yeah, that would be subverting my expectations.
When I go to a coffee shop, I expect coffee. If you get my order wrong and it's a different order of coffee, I probably won't be mad and I'll probably drink it because I think a server at a restaurant would have to actually slap me in the face for me to like talk to anyone else about it.
Right. To send your food back. That's way beyond anything you'd ever do.
I would never I might mention if I'm by myself, I will not say a fucking word.
Right.
if I get the wrong food and I'm by myself, I will not say anything.
You just eat the wrong food.
If I'm with someone else, they will notice, and I'll be like, okay, now I have to say something, but I'm probably it's fine though. But like I feel like I would have to be that meme where it's just like the girlfriend being like, excuse me, you got my boyfriend's order wrong. Like that's the sort of person I need in my life. Because, and it's like the John Mulaney joke as well. Just like, you could do anything to me. We're charging you with murder.
Why?
Because we're Delta Airlines and life is a fucking nightmare. Like, that's me.
Yeah.
So it would be, things would have to go pretty far for me to talk to anyone's manager in any situation.
Right.
Like, you would have to be such an asshole for me to say anything to anyone. Because I'm just like, you're just doing your job. If you're having a bad day, I get it. I have bad days at work all the time.
So if you got a plate of food and you notice there was a fingernail in it, what would you do? Would you just not eat it?
A fingernail?
Yeah.
Okay, a fingernail. I would probably, because, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the context of a fingernail also means that there's gotta be blood in it, right?
Not necessarily. If there's a fingernail, maybe somebody just clipped their nail.
Oh, I thought you were talking about not a whole fingernail.
No, I mean
like
just
a fingernail clipping.
Right, yeah, not a whole fingernail.
That's
not a whole finger. I mean, just like a piece of like fingernail.
I thought you were saying that like someone's whole fingernail got torn off.
No.
Yeah, I'd probably say something about the fingernail. But I'd be really apologetic about it.
You might even throw in some whimsical bullshit.
Maybe.
Like, hey guys, check this out. This is hilarious. Look what's on my plate.
Look at this. And could I please?
I'm sure you're busy, but
I know you're busy. Is it too much to ask? And they would probably be like, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course it's not too much to ask.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Let me get you another meal.
Right. Yeah.
But I know that's what they're going to do.
Right. Of course, because that's what they want to do. I mean, but I like Max. When I take Max to a restaurant, if Max, he's you at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And if somebody brings him the wrong thing, like, Max, let's just get the thing, because I mean, we're paying $10 for this. Let's get the thing you ordered. And Max is like, please don't
say anything.
Please don't. And then get over here and do that. And Max is like, if you don't leave a 50% tip,
I'm disowning you as my father. I just can't do that. I did the other day because there was no other option. Or last week sometime, I think it was last Thursday, I went to Sonic and they have new straws that are very sturdy. And I put it in I put it in the cup through the hole in the cup at slightly the wrong angle.
Yeah.
And it pierced through the side of the foam cup and got root beer all over my cup holder and the inside of my car. And so I was sitting there in the driveway, the drive-through, because they hadn't got me my food yet. And I was holding a leaking root beer out the side of the window. And she opened the window and was like, oh no, what happened? And I was like, the straw was too sharp. Can I please have another root beer? And she's like, yes, that's fine. I just didn't know what to do because the garbage is, up there. I wasn't going to get out of my car. No. It's just like, what do I do?
You did the only thing you could.
Just holding a leaking cup of root beer out the side of my car.
Yeah.
It's just, I felt so stupid. So
I recently developed superpowers and I don't know how to use them yet.
Also, I'm pretty sure the girl at the window lives in this building. And she also sees me there all the time.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Because I go to Sonic a lot.
Because we work near there.
Yeah, I live and work near where Sonic is at, so it's just and I like So that's fine. But it's just like, oh, it's the guy from upstairs again, isn't it?
Well, I just have to imagine that she's working up the courage to like walk by you at some point and go, "Hey, root beer. How you doing, root beer?"
I don't see people in the hallway.
Oh, you don't? Well, yeah.
Hey.
We've gotten a rhythm in my building now.
A rhythm now.
We now can time it when each of us don't have to fucking look at anybody else.
God, I am a disaster of a if I see someone going to the dumpster and they're going to walk, and I'm like, if I get out of my car now, we're going to be in the entryway at the same time.
Yep.
I will wait in my car. God, that like, why can't I just be?
That's normal, dude. That's fine.
No, it isn't.
It's fine.
It's not normal.
Sure,
There's
it is.
no way that's normal.
You don't want to helicopter into somebody else's personal space.
I get, but
that makes sense.
But for a very short amount of time in a very trivial interaction, not an interaction,
right?
As well, we don't even have to talk.
No, but
I'm avoiding that.
You'll be aware of each other.
I feel like that's not normal.
I mean, he's probably aware of you anyway.
Why is that guy just sitting in his car?
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking.
Well, maybe he's probably texting somebody. He's probably in texting conversation.
It could be.
Or jerking off. One of the two.
In his car, instead of just waiting till he goes up to his apartment.
It's his thing, I guess.
His windows aren't even tinted. Christ. All right, what medal are you bestowing upon Impera like Maskanada to Chewbacca?
Well, seeing as how I've listened to this like 50 times, I give it a gold.
Yeah, I'm giving it a silver.
Of course.
I'm not going to give this a bronze. It's
right.
Like as I've said many times, I didn't hate this. I enjoyed listening to it, but it is 100% not my thing, and I don't think I'm really. It did not convince me that I need to become a Ghost fan.
Sure, of course.
It didn't convince me that I need to go listen to the rest of their discography right now. I went, all right, I know what this is now. It's not what I thought it would be, but I know what it is. And
I knew that was going to be the reaction.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, once again, I don't know what to do next week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in kind of a dip at the moment where I've kind of run out of new material that I really want to talk about.
That was impressive. You did.
Yeah, I did.
He started breakdancing here right in front of me. Yeah,
I did a dip with my hands. But I don't know what I want to talk about because there's a couple new things that I don't really want to talk because I list like there's a new Mizmor thing. We've talked about Mizmor twice already in the last year.
Sure.
And also it's like it was not particularly new, and also like it didn't feel super new or different to me. And it was also a collaborative album.
Sure.
So I didn't really feel like talking about that because I didn't, I might listen to it more and decide maybe I do want to talk about it. But like the closest idea I have is talking about an old Architects album.
Sure.
That I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about. I looked through all of our podcasts before and I didn't see anything. And I searched the database. I didn't see anything.
We talked about the latest one, didn't we?
We talked not the newest one, but the one previous. Yes, we talked. That was
which is a good one.
That was Holy Hell,
right?
Which it was Holy Hell was all right.
Yeah.
This would be the one preceding Holy Hell that I'm thinking about talking about. Prospectively, it would be the album All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us. It was the last album with...
we've talked about that one.
We did?
Yeah, we talked about All Our Gods Are Abandoned. That's the one we really liked. We did.
Okay.
We've talked about that.
Why couldn't I find it then?
I don't know.
I hit the search button and everything. I couldn't find it. Well, I guess we won't do that.
I feel like it was summer when we did that because it was hot outside and I was mowing the yard. I was listening to that, and as Architects tends to do, it made me sneeze.
Yeah.
And get lightheaded, so I had to switch to
something that you weren't allergic to.
Yes, I think it was we lost the C or something.
You've gotten over your allergy to Architects.
Right, I think I have.
You can now say
architects
without, sneezing and going into a coughing fit. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want to listen to. I might even decide to do something that's not metal because we didn't have a non-metal month. So
we did not.
I might just randomly sprinkle something in. I might decide to make you listen to Phoebe Bridgers. I don't know.
All right.
To carry on the we're talking a lot about stuff that's not a mood palette cleanser. That's definitely Phoebe Bridgers. So who knows?
All right.
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. So until whatever comes up next week, thank you for listening to this episode. If you're listening to us on one thing, why not listen to us on a different thing? Like perhaps Apple's podcast app or the podcast source from Libsyn, direct from the people who published this podcast. So why don't you go do that? Or perhaps listen to us on YouTube.
YouTube.
Why not? We're there still, I think. And social media,
sure.
Facebook and Twitter. And we post episode links there if that's how you would prefer to be notified. Or if you just need tons of different ways to be told that new episodes have released. Hitting the subscribe or like button isn't enough.
Now, how many people are on the text message group?
Yeah, I have a text thread set up. I have a SMS system ready to go that sends out automatic text messages because people love that.
Yeah, well, everybody loves being on a text group.
Yes, people really enjoy that historically.
There are like 2 or 3 from work, all of which are muted on my phone.
Anyway, thanks for listening to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ. Congratulations.
King